Hey guys, Tiffany here. Today's video is going to be about my monthly favorites. This is going to be my first video ever on my monthly favorites, and this is going to be on the month of March. If you guys would like to see what my favorite products were for the month of March, please keep on watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you like this video. Thank you. Alright guys, for the month of March, there were so many new things that came out. But I only picked up a few items. I'm also going to talk about stuff that I've used before and I've recently gotten to love again. We'll get more into why I've been digging through my old stuff later on. But to get started today, the first palette I am going to be talking about is the Natasha The Nona palette. And I was actually surprised by this palette because there was a lot of good and bad things said about it. If you guys see here, sorry, but this is my bucket of some of my good stuff for the month. Anyways, I actually fell in love with the palette. I know a lot of people said they didn't like it because it felt different, and I must say I actually like it because of it. Don't get me wrong, Natasha The Nona's palettes are all amazing, but I noticed that these shadows are more packed in, and for some reason these shadows, the shimmer shadows, are more packed in, so there wasn't crazy amount of fallout as you usually get with her other palettes, like the Sunset palette, which I own. Don't get me wrong, I love all her palettes, but I was a little scared because people were complaining about it, and I've actually fell in love with it. This is the palette here, and I love that it is summer vibes. Palette does retail for $129. You guys can see I do have this palette on my eye. I only have this palette on my eye today because the other palette I'm going to talk about I used for an entire week. I love how the matte shadows blend. It was very easy. If you guys want to zoom in a little, sorry. I have some of her browns, I'll show you what colors I use. So I used this pink one, and then I went in with this one right here. Oh no, I went in with this one and then this one here, and then I dipped into this one on my outer corners, and then to give it a little more definition I added this brown shade, and then in the inner corners I put this a little bit right here, and then that middle shimmer is this marshmallow color here. Yes, it looks like a marshmallow. I'm gonna call it what it looks like, and I must say I loved how it looked. Then on my lower lid I went and took that brown and put it under, and right on that, right above it, I added this blue, which you can't really tell is blue because of the brown, but I love how much definition it gave my eyes. So for another palette that I recently got back into, it's been my Jacqueline Morphe palette. And the reason I say get back into is because when I first got this palette, I got it months after it came out because I wasn't so into Morphe because there was so much talk about Morphe, but I decided to put my feelings aside because I've never tried the products, and I got the palette. And at first I loved it, of course, and I never found myself reaching for it. So I must say I created many looks with this palette, and I loved it. And I feel like this palette is very versatile. You have your very comfortable warm tones, your regular looks up here, then you go a little bit into your darker reds and browns, then you go down here into your fun colors, and here you go into your dark brown colors. And I love it because you can create fun looks, your regular workday looks. If you ever just need one palette, I think this palette can do it for you. And I believe this palette retails for $38, and now they have it at Ulta. So my next palette I will be talking about, which I believe it is the last eyeshadow palette I'll be talking about, is my Rayray eyeshadow palette. I recently picked it up. Anyways, I'm going to talk about my BH Cosmetic. It's my Rayray. I got it at the beginning of the month. I'm going to talk about the palette as a whole, and I love the entire palette. I love the eyeshadows because it gives you a different set of eye colors, and like I said with the Jacqueline palette, it's very versatile. You can get your regular workday or a regular day chill day look. You can still pull off a night look, and you can still pull off any other look you like. And I love how blendable these shadows are, and these metallic shadows are amazing. Amazing. I'll give you a little example here. So this is the shade Angel. You guys can see it's very white in the pan, but my finger looks golden, and if you swatch it, It looks very golden, which I kind of love about the shadow. It's like one of my favorite metallic shadows here. Anyways, then going on to the faces, the contour and highlight. I use this color to contour. I'm thinking about getting into this color and seeing if apply lightly I can get a full in-depth contour. We'll have to check that out, but I must say they are very blendable. I haven't used this shade yet. I want to try it for under eyes and stuff like that, see if it brightens. Now for the highlights, I've used both these two. I didn't use this one yet because I feel like it's too dark, but maybe it'll look beautiful as an eyeshadow anyways. And this is, like I said, looks like a very white highlighter. Looks like it don't fit my skin, but that's actually the highlighter I'm wearing right now, and it transformed into a gold highlighter. I feel like it warms up to the skin. Very beautiful. I have this highlighter here on the inner, on my brow bones and in the inner corners. I use this as a highlighter as well. Absolutely beautiful. These shadows are very creamy. Highlighters are very creamy, and the contour blends beautifully, which is actually the contour that I'm wearing now. It's very warm and it's not in depth and it's not a heavy set contour, but I do like heavy set contours sometimes. Not that I look like a clown, but like I want more in depth. Now getting into contour palettes, I've recently gotten back into my NYX Contour Palette. Sorry, this is missing it. And the reason I say I've gotten back into it is because I haven't used it since the summer. You know, you buy all this stuff and you tend to forget that you have things that are just as amazing as these other stuff that you buy. Don't get me wrong, I love all my contour palettes and my bronzers, which is one of the reasons why I still have them. But I got back into this week. I used it for an entire week and I love it. I love that it has different contour shades and it's not too harsh where you can't use it on middle skin tones, but it's dark enough where you can use it on dark tones. If you guys don't know, you can also create these palettes yourself at NYX. This one was already a prefix one that I bought. I don't need a lot of work, and I love them. I also love these shades here. Very good setting powders, or just to brighten up the under eyes if you just want to brighten quickly. And it's inexpensive. I believe this is, don't correct me on this, but I believe it's $20. It's very, very blendable. It gives you contour and bronzers all in one, and so happy that I got back into it. My next palette I got this month as well, but I have been enjoying. This is my BH Cosmetics Blush Nude Palette. If you guys want to check it out, it has mostly like neutral blushes, some dark, but overall it's neutral, which I like. I am not that dark skin and I am not too light either, so I need something that meets in the middle. And I don't like really reds and pinks. I just like a natural blush. As you can see, I am wearing this shade here. I don't think they have names, but I'm wearing this shade here and on my cheeks, and I've been loving it. I look like I'm still brightened in the face, but it's not too heavy for my skin tone. And I got this at Burlington Factory. I know on the website it's like $10. I got it for $6 at Burlington Factory. And the Burlington Factory by my house have actually been busting the game up because it's one of the worst Burlington factories. But then again, it's New York. We don't expect much. And then for highlighter, I got my Jeffree Star palette a month or two months ago. 2 months ago. And I used it like a couple times. Then I stopped. Then I got right back into it this week. And I put it part of my challenge so I can start getting to know the products I have, why I love them so much, if I should keep them or if it was just a waste of my money. This was worth my money. I must say, I love all these colors. Happy that Jeffree Star came out with this palette. I do own some of his highlighters and I do love them. I love these because they are very, very creamy. I do like the shades. I don't know why. It's not something that I would do regularly, but honestly, I love this gold. I like popping gold for fun sometimes, and I love putting it in the inner corners as a highlighter. And this one, which is King Tut, which looks very dark in the pan, but it actually is a beautiful bronzy gold. I don't know how to explain this. This one here looks really white, which it really isn't. This is called sarcophagus. Crack myself up sometimes. Anyways, beautiful shade, and these shades are very creamy. Like, I remember people saying that his highlighters were very, I don't know. You guys can see this is very creamy. Like, dusting your brush on this is like, look at that. You just have to go with a light hand because it does go on. It's a lot, and that's because it's very creamy. So my next highlighter is my NVZ ABH Cosmetics Highlighter, and you guys all know how this looks. I've been loving this because I feel like it's very versatile, and I'm not just talking about my skin tone. I feel like every skin tone will do, like this would do amazing by these skin tones. And I love that it's not glittery. Like, you would think this has glitter and whatnot, and it actually doesn't, and there's no fallout, and it's like it goes into the skin so seamlessly, and like it melts right into the skin. I don't like highlighters that sit on top of the skin. I feel like it doesn't look like it's a part of your makeup look. Like with this highlighter, there's still gold, but it doesn't look like it's on top of my skin or like it's wearing my skin. It looks like my skin is wearing it. See where we're going with that? And I bet it's going to be a lot of people's favorites this month. Loved it. Now we're going to move on to one more highlighter, and then my favorite contours and bronzers besides my NYX. My next one is e.l.f. With their Heart Defense collaboration. This highlighter is gorgeous. I skipped out on buying this at first because I felt like for some reason the pictures don't do it justice. I'm just gonna be the one to say it looked very dried out and it didn't look right. I'm just gonna say it. So I'm gonna swatch these for you. The only issue I have is that I feel one is too dark and one is too light. So what I do is I mix both of them in. It's very creamy, and I think it's like $8, maybe $10 the most, and you can't beat that, guys. Like, and it's very creamy. It blends into the skin seamlessly. It works for all skin tones, which is a great thing. Companies need to do this more. Consider other skin tones. Let me stop. Anyways, yeah, that's been one of my favorites. I've been loving it. Now for contours, I'm talking about two. I got my Wet n Wild contouring palette, and I got my Model's Own Sculpting Glow. This is a cream 2 powder bronzer, and this is powder. I love both of them. I feel like this one is a little bit more orangey, but again, this is more bronzy, and I love it because it doesn't look like shit on your face. We're just gonna say what a lot of us think it is shit on your face. It blends beautifully, and you can build it up, and it doesn't go on heavy. And as for this, I love that this shade is like somewhat of a perfect contour. It has somewhat of gray undertones, and I love that. And I love the banana powder. I'm calling it banana powder. This is a Dulce de Leche, and it looks beautiful on the under eyes to brighten. I only have one primer that I've been loving, and that's been my Supergoop SPF 40, and I've been using this more this month because we're hitting spring and I need to prepare. Even though I should be doing this all year long, I'm gonna start making it a habit because the bitch don't want to look wrinkly. I'm trying to live. And this cost $32, and I've been loving it. I was a little scared because SPF, you can either get flashback or you get that intense smell, and that's not what I wanted. And I loved it because it fills in the pores and it goes on very clear, so you know there's no flashback, and it doesn't mess with my foundation. There's a lot of foundations that are silicone based, and sometimes I feel like they make my foundation roll up. Moving on. For foundation, I've gone back to my Wet n Wild and my Maybelline Fit Me. Superstay. I haven't been buying foundations because I've been trying to finish off my collection and starting to get into other things. So I'm going slowly, and I probably keep talking about the same foundation for the rest of the year. But that's something you guys are going to have to deal with unless something amazing like maybe Cover FX foundations come along. So I am contemplating if I should get that or not. I'll be sitting here for a while thinking before I do so. Anyways, I fell back in love with this. I haven't used it in like 2-3 months, and ever since that I've been trying it again. I feel like it looks like my skin, just like covering everything, but it's my skin, and it doesn't feel heavy, and it lasts me all day long. And I've been using it with my super goop, and it's a perfect combination. Like, I don't get breakish here. Then again, I stopped putting concealer here and concealer on my forehead and just been brightening my eyes, because I feel like the more products I put in these areas, because I am oily, is going to break. And of course, you guys know I've been sticking with my Super Stay. It's very matte. It's a very thin, but it has coverage, and I adore that. And come on, these are drugstore products. $5, like $10. I'm not breaking the bank, are you? Ow. Now for mascara. Sorry guys, I'm going into my little basket. We're almost ending. For mascaras, I've been liking these three. This is the Double Decker Lashes from Butter London. This is the NYX Worth the Hype. And this is Benefit Bao Gao Bang. I've been loving the three because they give me volume, length, and definition. And I feel like all three do the same thing. I would just say the texture is different. Like, this one is more watery, and these two are more drier, but still wet, but it's not too wet where you have to be careful. As with this one, you have to be a little careful on how you go. And I think these work better for people who already have a little bit length in the lashes, because it gives you more depth. Love it. And this isn't expensive. I think this is the same thing, just this is watery, but they're my babies, so none of them are going anywhere. For powders, I've been loving my e.l.f. matte Make Me Matte powder, and this is a mix in. I also been using it as like a all over powder on my face, and I love how velvety my skin look. I don't know if the video will be up before or after this video, but I do have a video coming up where I put it against the Urban Decay Velvetizer, and honestly guys, I think you guys will be surprised on how that works. And then my other setting powder for my under eyes that I've been using to bake is my Makeup Revolution Lace. I like this. I like the banana one, but I use the banana one as an all over. It's not bright enough for me. It makes my eyes look a little darker, so I go with the lace, and your sis got it. I'm kind of surprised because a lot of the things here are inexpensive, except for the Natasha The Nona and Jeffree Star, and maybe the Anastasia. Maybe. The highlighter is not that expensive. And then for the final product, which has been my #1 favorite this month, and that, oh no, we got two more. They have to do with concealers. I'll talk about my #1 after, but this is the Benefit Boing Brightening Concealer. I've recently got into brightening concealers because I have dark under eyes right here, and no matter how much concealer I put, so I need something to do the job. And this is $20. I was gonna pick up the Becca Brightener one, but I heard that one is way too creamy. I'm oily, I don't need extra creaminess. I'll try that on maybe later on, but I've been liking this because this is not that creamy. You use your fingers, you pat on the dark areas before you put in the concealer, and it sticks, it stays there. And I like how much brightness it brings to it. And then of course my favorite concealer, since we're going there, has been my Makeup Revolution. And it's been my favorite concealer because it's medium to full coverage. I feel like you have to build it up depending on what type of under eyes you have. I, like I said, have dark under eyes, and you have to build it up only like a little bit more. And I love it because it's creamy and it moves around in your, and it stays in that area, but it's still movable. You leave it there to dry a little bit longer than usual before you, I love that effect. Just leave it there for like a few seconds longer and then go in and blend it in, and you'll notice how beautiful this thing looks. So this has been my, I think I'm almost done with this, but I have 2 backups. And there you go guys, this have been my favorites for the month of March. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed my little rant, and let me know down below if you guys have some similar products you loved in the month of March. Also guys, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.